Today we're going to go through 3 of my favorite LED masks. I'm going to compare them. I'm going to share specs with you. I'm going to share pricing, all the things. I recently did a Facebook Live and answered tons and tons of questions. That is over on my Facebook business page. From that live, I really realized the masks that people were interested in hearing about. So today we're going to talk about the CurrentBody Series 2. We're going to talk about the Maysama Prana, and we're going to talk about the Rajani Plasma Glow. Those are the 3 masks that happen to be my favorite masks, and they are definitely the masks that have the most interest. We're going to start with the CurrentBody mask. Guys, this is unlike any mask that's on the market. It is a brand new mold. They've poured this medical grade silicone. It is super, super soft. It is hands down the softest mask that I've ever had. It's just really, really comfortable. But beyond that, because it's a new design, they just changed a bunch of stuff up. The big, huge difference, I would say, is that they added a submental piece. So attached to and molded into a submental is that bottom piece. So you can tell it is really a completely different design, which, you know, a lot of these masks were doing the same exact design for years and years and years and kind of piggybacking off of each other. And now we have this new design. There are 236 bulbs in here, and the wavelengths in here are 633, which is red, 830, and then also 1072. So they've added that 1072 kind of, I think it's called deep near infrared. It's a further wavelength in the light spectrum, and it is supposed to be even better anti-aging. Now they put these underneath the eyes and all around the mouth, which is really, really cool. Something that I want to tell you about 1072 that I do think is very important, but that no company is going to make a claim, is that 1072 is fantastic for cold sores. So if you are someone who is trying to decide between these masks and you happen to be someone who gets cold sores, which is like 72% of people have that virus in their system, 1072 can be preventative and it can help to clear a cold sore. And those lights are all around the mouth. They did choose those areas because there's a study that shows that those 2 areas underneath the eyes and around the mouth, that 1072 can affect really good change. It's good for anti-aging. The other thing about the CurrentBody mask that I think is really important is that they're doing what they're calling Veritas testing. That means that when you get your mask, you can actually scan a QR code and check to see the testing all along the way. You can see that your mask actually passed all of the testing. You can see that the LEDs fall within ±2 of the wavelength that they claim. And that's pretty important because a lot of these masks are ±10. And, you know, a lot of the studies, a lot of the things that we know about specific wavelengths apply to that specific wavelength. And so we want to be as close to that wavelength as we possibly can. And basically CurrentBody is guaranteeing that if they say it's 633, it's going to be ±2 at 633. And I don't think that any other brand can actually say that. So that's really interesting as well. Now, the other thing that I do really like about this, you guys, is the fit is impeccable. It's really, really comfortable. Now it has the straps that go around the back, obviously, and then you can get this optional top strap so that you can really make it snug to your submental. But overall, it's genuinely one of the most comfortable LED masks I've ever used, and it's completely just a different mold. It's completely different. It is a 30 irradiance, which is perfect. You really want your LED mask to fall between 30 and 50. CurrentBody has a 30-day return policy, and it is $469 when it is full price. Now, of course, I always have a code and it's typically 10% off, but there are sales that happen and that kind of thing, which is why I suggest that you check the description box, because anytime I have any kind of a higher discount, I will always put it in the description box, but I will also link it on my discount codes page on my website, as well as trending sales if there's ever a sale. So if you're ever just not sure, or you're looking for a code, you want the best discount, check my website because we update that all the time, and it may be a way for you to save a little bit more money if I can negotiate a higher discount. I did have a team member actually go to Manchester, and which is where CurrentBody is, and she got to test the CurrentBody mask with the LED tester, the spectrometer. And the really, really cool thing was she was able to see that obviously at the actual LEDs, you can see that there is, you know, the light, and it is what they say it is. It's the right wavelength and all that stuff. But when she moved that tester in between the LEDs, there was still treatment. So there are no dip spots where you're not getting treated. That is huge. And it's always a question when people talk about LED masks. They say, oh, well, what about those spots in between the lights? Well, I can tell you, at least for CurrentBody, that you get coverage on your whole face, which that's pretty dang cool. The nose on the CurrentBody isn't split, and I do find that to be quite a bit more comfortable than the split noses. And I know a lot of people have trouble with the split nose. The thing about the CurrentBody, and we're going to talk about this with Rajani too, the nose isn't split and there's LEDs there. So you're definitely treating the nose, but you're less likely to get those lines on your nose from the split noses. Oh, something else about the CurrentBody mask. You guys, the controller has a clip on it. This is probably, as silly as it seems, this is one of the coolest features of any of the LED masks that have come out. The reason why this is so neat is I am always doing stuff when I have my LED masks on, and I have to stick the things in my pocket. And inevitably, and I'm sure this happens to you guys too, inevitably I turn the thing off and I have to get it back out of my pocket and click it back on, start the treatment over. I have no idea if it's been 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. I just start over. And honestly, that's a pain. I mean, I have to say, the clip means that I can actually clip it. I can go on and do stuff, and I don't have to worry about turning this on and off, and it's truly, truly hands-free. Editing pen here, I realized that I needed to expand a little bit on the 1072 wavelength because it actually is really, really interesting, has some interesting science behind it for anti-aging. I originally got interested in this wavelength when Omnilux launched a men's mask a long time ago, a while back, and it's gotten, you know, it's gained in popularity. I hear it talked about all the time in my Facebook group, and it's just, you know, it's kind of because it has this 1072. So naturally, when CurrentBody came out with their Series 2, that was an obvious comparison that needed to happen. So I went ahead and I purchased the Omnilux men's mask so that I could look at them in person and compare them and just kind of get an idea of these two masks that have this really incredible wavelength. Omnilux actually promotes this as a men's mask, and the reason why they do that is because of the usage of this 1072 wavelength. Their proposition is that men have thicker skin, and so 1072 actually penetrates deeper, so it's going to help to affect change for men better. Naturally, I hear all the time, women are like, well, can women use this mask? Yeah, of course women can use this mask, and 1072 is a fantastic wavelength for ladies as much as it is for men, of course. When we compare these two masks, if I put them up next to each other, honestly, there's some obvious differences, right, that you can just see between the two. Number one, the biggest thing that I see right off the bat that stands out to me is the coverage over the mouth, or, you know, above the upper lip. Omnilux basically doesn't have any coverage over the upper lip, which, sorry, but we all definitely want that now. And CurrentBody pretty much surrounds the mouth with those 1072 LEDs. The other thing is the Omnilux has 66 LEDs, whereas the CurrentBody has 236 LEDs. So you've got this big, huge gap in the number of LEDs. Additionally, when I dug deeper, the placement and the number of the 1072 LEDs in the Omnilux men's mask is seriously lacking. Only 6 of them are the 1072. The CurrentBody mask has 16 of the 1072s, and they're in exactly the places where we're gonna want them. They are underneath the eyes and they're all around the mouth. Now, there's some interesting studies on 1072 and anti-aging, but also on the eye area. These studies are small and you can read them and decide what you want to decide. But no matter what, I think that the incorporation of the 1072 wavelength is super duper interesting. But I do think, especially when comparing them side by side, the Omnilux is pale. It pales in comparison to the CurrentBody mask. And I find it really, really curious that there's only 6 of the 1072s in that Omnilux mask. Now, when I actually handle them in person, again, I will reiterate, the CurrentBody mask is so soft, it's pliable, it's super comfortable. It obviously has that submental, which the Omnilux Men doesn't, and lots of them don't, but it doesn't. And then of course, it has so many more LEDs, and it has so many more of the 1072, which is what the Omnilux Men's mask is kind of promoting. The fact that it's really hard to find out where the bulbs are and how many of them there are, I thought I'd share it with you so you don't have to go on a treasure hunt trying to find the information. Here it is for you, comparing those 2 masks. All right, back to the original video. Okay, so Maysama is quite a bit similar to the molds that we're very used to, right? It's got the split nose, but one thing that she did, and I'm gonna point this out first and then we're gonna go through the rest of the specs, is she got rid of the mouth cutout. There are just LEDs over the entire mouth area. This is one of those things that is going to appeal to everybody in my age range. Like if you listen to Cruel Summer by Bananarama, then you probably want LED covering your entire mouth. You're probably in perimenopause. I mean, it is seriously like a really smart thing that Bev did with that. We have 138 diodes, and the irradiance is 40 to 45. So again, we're looking at 30 to 50. And so it falls in a great range. Now, the treatment time for this one is 1 to 9 minutes. The treatment time of the CurrentBody mask is 10 minutes. And this does not, like I said, it has no cutout for the mouth, so it just treats that whole mouth area. So the CurrentBody uses the 1072 all around the mouth. The Maysama just doesn't have a mouth cutout at all and uses the red or red and near infrared covering the whole area. Now, that is a positive as far as I'm concerned, but it's also something to take into consideration, because if you are somebody who wants to be able to sip your coffee through a straw or your drink or whatever, then maybe you won't like that. It's definitely something to consider. Like I said, again, there are 138 diodes here. So there are less diodes, but these diodes have the option to be pulsing. Now, the argument for pulsing is that it may help with better peak power, better absorption of nutrients and all the good stuff if you want to use skincare, so better skincare absorption with pulsing. And pulsing is one of those things that is supposed to really be super effective at stimulating that ATP. So to me, when I look at the Maysama and I look at the CurrentBody, we've got a couple different value propositions. With the CurrentBody, we've got that 1072. We have more lights and we have definitely no gaps, right? Now with Maysama, we have that full coverage over the mouth and we have that pulsing, which is a value proposition. So they're different, but they're both very, very good. So you just have to decide which of those is important to you. I would also say that a selling point for Maysama is that it has the option for blue. So if you're somebody who has any kind of issues with acne, or you have a family member who has acne, then Maysama offers a treatment mode that has blue. Blue is going to help with acne. It's antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory, and it really can help with acne. So there's a treatment mode for that. The other thing about Maysama is you can actually turn off the near infrared and go red only. That's really, really cool for those of us who have a lower fit, if we're 1, 2, or 3, and we have melasma. So her mask has the controller that you really can toggle through all of these different modes. So you can choose red alone, red plus near infrared. You can choose blue plus, I think it's blue plus red. And then you can choose your treatment time. So you've got a few different treatment times. Whereas CurrentBody, you literally just turn it on and go. They've got it preloaded with what you want to do. And you just turn it on, clip it, and you've got that treatment, which is really an awesome anti-aging, kind of perfectly designed treatment for anti-aging. So somebody pointed this out in the Facebook Live, and I thought it was one way to kind of try and decide was that if you have acne, it's Maysama. If you have cold sores, it is CurrentBody. I mean, those are two really clear distinctions that only you can decide If you fall into either one of those groups and you are trying to decide between those two masks, then that's a pretty clear winner. Acne is Maysama, cold sores is the CurrentBody. So that's maybe helpful for some of you out there. So the starting price for Maysama is $375. And of course she does bundles on her site, and I have a discount code, and I'll put all the pertinent information in the description box, just like CurrentBody. So $375 is your starting point for Maysama, and your starting point for CurrentBody is $469. Okay, the third mask is gonna be the Rajani mask. This is a mask that I shared quite a long time ago, and honestly, very much ahead of the curve. It has an attached submental. He was the first one to do that. You can clearly see that this is a different design than normal. I mean, this is not just like cobbled on there. It is actually a part of the mask. He had to do a different design. Now he has 234 double wick LEDs in here, and he calls them Plasma Glow. They are differently shaped than the other masks are. It's a completely different shape. It's like this kind of versus like this traditional rectangle. They go like this. And so the idea is that they're supposed to put this light out, kind of spread it so that you get a lot more coverage, so you don't have those gaps. But I can tell you that those light bulbs are definitely interesting, and the intention behind them was so that there weren't any spots where you dip in your coverage of light. So for that, I give him a big kudos. He does have the non-split nose, and like I said, 234 light bulbs. Now, these actually are triple LED bulbs. So you see 78 of them. Each of those 78 has 3 colors. So you've got your red, near infrared, and you have blue. You do have modes with the Dr. Rajani mask. So again, you can do different types of treatments depending on your concerns. So if you want to do your red plus your near infrared, you can do that. You can do your red plus your blue. You know, you can choose. So this is another one that would be really good if you have acne, but it's also really good for anti-aging. And again, they do this with the submental, which I think you watch. Everybody is going to start doing a submental in these masks, because this is the first one, and I feel like he should be rewarded for that because it was really ingenious. When this came out last year, I was like, that is ingenious, and I think it's pretty cool. If you don't follow Dr. Rajani, you should. I adore him. I think he's such a fantastic person, and I was very impressed with the design of this mask. Okay, so this mask is $425 starting price. I have a discount code, of course, with this one as well, and I work on anytime I can getting a higher discount for sales or whatever. Again, it'll all be in the description box. Now this one is 30 irradiance. So again, it's right there where it should be, the 30 to 50 irradiance. So all 3 of these masks fall right where we want them to as far as the irradiance is concerned. And he says it is a 10-minute treatment time, 3 to 4 times a week. That is really up to you. I feel like you can do LED more often than that if you want to, but that's the recommendation with this mask. And again, I think one of the real standouts is this submental, and then you wrap this around the top of your head, and it's super comfortable and snug. And it's really important for these masks to fit well, for the lights to be really close to your skin, if not touching your skin. And this one does that very well. All 3 of these are nicely fitting, soft, comfortable masks that are, you know, a little bit innovative. At least the Dr. Rajani and the CurrentBody are a little bit innovative in the way that they apply to your face and how they fit. Okay, so this has 630 and 830, so it's red, near infrared, and blue, like I said, and there are modes, so you can choose between them, which actually makes it quite versatile too if this is something that you want to share with your teenager because they have acne and you want to use it for anti-aging, let's say. As far as the lip coverage is concerned, he goes all around the lip, and I do like that there are 3 across the top of the different version of lights. So those Apex Glow lights that are kind of differently shaped. So he does one right here in the middle, which is fantastic. And then he also does 2 kind of close to, you know, like right at the top of the nose, but where it's going to with that different kind of bulb, get this area right here. Okay, you guys, I will put all pertinent details down below. If you have any questions about any of these masks, I'm gonna take them all in the comment section. I'm gonna do my best to answer as much as I possibly can. I am doing a blog and I will have a comprehensive chart that you can go look at, and compare. And there are a couple other masks on that chart. The Jobs mask is on there and the Omnilux men's is on there. So if you want to just compare specs, it'll be on there. I have graphs, I have history, I have all kinds of stuff in my blog for you to really kind of investigate the differences between these masks if you are in the market to upgrade your mask. Something that I said in my Facebook Live that I think is really, really important is that if you own the higher dose mask, if you own Omnilux, if you own the original CurrentBody, you have a good LED mask. You do not have to upgrade. And truthfully, every single year, we're going to see more innovation, more iteration. And next year, this time, I'm probably going to be talking about some new spec that's exciting and cool. And we're all going to have to collectively decide that one of these is still good enough, and it will be. So if you are happy with any of the masks that you got last year, they're still good. And you're just going to have to accept the fact that we're off to the races as far as innovation is concerned with LED masks. And they're all competing to innovate and create better all the time. So we're going to keep seeing that. So I think it's truly important to know that just because new good stuff has come out, it doesn't make the stuff that we were using before that we loved not good. It's just, there's newer stuff and it's, innovation. It's really, really important that you know that, because you don't need one of these if you have a really good mask that you just got last year. Okay. All right, you guys, I hope that you have a really wonderful day. I hope that this was helpful. Leave me any comments or questions down below. I'll do my best to answer with as much detail as possible. And I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.